Hey there, welcome back to the channel. If you're someone who values deep stories that carry timeless wisdom, lessons from Zen, Stoicism, and the human heart, then you're in the right place. Before we dive in, if this kind of content resonates with you, take a second to support the channel. Like the video, subscribe, and tap that bell so you don't miss the next soul-shifting story. Your support keeps these narratives flowing, and it means more than you know. Now, imagine giving your whole heart to love, again and again, only to be left with less of yourself each time. This is the story of Rogers, the man who was always nice, until the day he stopped, not because he became bitter, but because he became still. Let's begin. Rogers had always been the nice guy. He was the one who brought flowers on the first date, who wrote little notes and sent morning texts with hearts and emojis. He remembered anniversaries others forgot, made grand gestures no one asked for, and said sorry even when he had done nothing wrong. He thought love was about giving, about pleasing, about being the man who would never hurt you, never argue, never disagree. But over and over again, Rogers found himself alone. Some women said he was too nice. Some lost interest. Some ghosted him after months of devotion. And each time he tried harder. More flowers, more messages, more softness. But it never worked. And one cold afternoon, in a quiet cafe, staring at the torn remains of yet another breakup letter in his pocket, something inside him shifted. I used to think love was about being liked, he thought, about being sweet, about being agreeable. But all that got me was pain. In every relationship, Rogers bent himself to fit the other. If they liked hiking, he suddenly liked hiking. If they wanted space, he gave too much of it. If they seemed upset, he'd apologize before understanding why. He feared conflict. He feared saying no. He feared that being true to himself might drive them away. So he became whatever they needed until they didn't need him anymore. And every time he was left, it felt like a piece of him went with them. Because in trying to be loved, he forgot how to be himself. The man who seeks to please loses himself in the reflections of others. To need approval is to be enslaved by those who give or withhold it. After his 5th breakup in 2 years, Rogers found himself in the park, speaking to no one in particular, just venting to the wind. The monk beside him listened silently. Rogers said, "I gave her everything. Why did she leave?" The old man, still feeding birds, replied gently, "Because you gave yourself away." That line struck like lightning. It didn't blame. It didn't judge. Simply revealed. Rogers went home in silence. That night, he opened a blank journal. He wrote down the question, "Who am I when I'm not trying to be liked?" Days turned into weeks. He began studying Zen, reading Marcus Aurelius, sitting in stillness. He learned that clinging leads to suffering, that love is not control or performance, but presence, that being kind is not the same as being spineless. He meditated every morning, letting go of expectations. He began listening not just to others but to the voice within that he had long ignored. He stopped chasing. He stopped performing. And in that silence, he began to hear himself again. When Rogers began dating again, something had changed. He no longer sought to impress. He no longer rushed to say the right thing. If a woman disagreed with him, he smiled and stood by his truth. If he sensed manipulation or mind games, he didn't retaliate. He simply stepped away. Not out of spite, but peace. He no longer feared being alone. Because for the first time, he wasn't lonely with himself. He didn't chase. He didn't beg. And strangely, women started to admire him, not for what he gave, but for what he was. Grounded, calm, clear. A man who loved without losing himself. A man who could walk away with grace, not guilt. A man who knows himself does not fear rejection. He once wrote in his journal, "For what is lost was never his to keep." And one day, love found him again. Not because he tried harder, but because he stood still, anchored in truth. Rogers watches the sun dip below the horizon. His breath slow, eyes peaceful. Stop trying to be nice. Be real. Be grounded. Be still. And the right ones will stay not because you clung, but because you let them choose. And just like that, Rogers discovered the quiet strength of letting go. Not of love, but of the need to be everything for everyone. He didn't stop being kind. He simply stopped abandoning himself. If the story spoke to something in you, if it reminded you to pause, to breathe, to stand still in your own truth, then I invite you to support the channel. Like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Each small gesture from you helps keep these stories alive and helps them reach the hearts that need them most. Until next time, stay grounded, stay real, and as always, walk the path with calm eyes and a still soul.